Alright, welcome from the past this time, from like 9 hours ago.
We're gonna go back to the future.
So we're gonna be continuing Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time we finished the investigation and then we went to the court. And yeah, we've had a summation examination and then we had another testimony and we stopped right after
Right after
we
the two
objected
new
to
witnesses
the
gave their
statement.
testimony, yeah.
Yeah, the two dolls on the stand.
The two children that are apparently married.
Yeah. So, you're saying there were 4 books?
That's right, I remember all of them. The picture of Monsieur somebody, what's it, yearnings, a meal for someone, and the thingummy something.
I'm sorry, Mr. O'Malley. There's a fundamental flaw in that statement of yours. Also, apologies if I sound kinda groggy. I feel like I might be getting sick, but hopefully not. So, yeah.
I think it'll be alright.
Oh no! No, what flaw?
She literally does look like a doll when she has that fucking face.
Simply that at the scene of the crime there were only 3 books, not 4.
I love it when he does that dramatic point.
Yeah.
What?
This is the receipt from the bookshop where the defendant bought his books.
Your books?
Yes, and it details Mr. Natsume's purchases that day. But as you can see, only 3 books are listed.
I love that he puts his hand on this.
Yeah.
Only 3, but no, that can't be.
That's not even what we were like focusing on. We were focusing on the titles.
Yeah. Either way, she's fucking lying.
I remember seeing them. There were 4, I tell you, 4 30-year-old books.
Oh, really? Have a good look at this photographic print of the scene of the crime.
Look at this photograph.
As you can clearly see from this evidence as well, there are only 3 books.
But I just don't believe it. I saw them there, I swear it, I saw them.
Maybe you saw the old man instead. Did
Yeah,
you know
he
what
looks like a
street you
book.
were on? No, madam, I'm afraid your powers of observation cannot be relied upon.
Oh,
So it cannot be
is he
denied.
even awake?
What? I don't think so.
Is the husband even awake? He doesn't
he's
look
like
like
me.
he is.
Though you say it
Lord.
was the defendant you saw, you could very well be mistaken.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no!
Wow,
What
she's
the
got a lot of hair.
Objection!
What
Shut
now?
the fuck up. Twitter facepalm emoji reaction image.
It's plainly evident that it is your powers of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my learned Nipponese friend. What? What cannot be denied is that these 2 witnesses saw the accused running from the scene. A fact that you know very well
They
you have no hope of disproving. Ah. So you've striven to avert attention from that by dint of some inconsequential discrepancies. Would that be fair?
I don't think so.
Ugh, he sees right through me. But your plan has somewhat recoiled against you. What are you talking about? It's quite simple. Let me explain with a toast. All toasters toast toast. To the
Your
policeman's
entirely accurate testimony.
wife.
I
like
bet.
how that's like even highlighted. To the policeman's
Yeah, they know
wife.
how fucking stupid it is.
In her entirely accurate testimony in every respect.
Oh,
You see, the matter is not up for debate. At the scene on Briar Road, a total of 4 books were most definitely found.
Objection!
Add them to the court log, then, you bitch.
It's nice for you to withhold that information. But
Yeah,
what
it
about the
literally-
photographic print?
It's the updated autopsy report of the fucking thing.
The updated purchase list. Quite right. Only 3 can be seen in that print.
Oh, they're literally gonna do that. They're literally going to add a fucking second picture
That print,
with the
you
wider
mean to
shot.
say? Yeah, they're just gonna be like, here's the zoomed
They're
out
just gonna
version.
fuck with us. Oh my god.
Allow me to present another, one that shows the
Knew
victim's
it.
hand. What's the
Shut
book
the fuck
then?
up. The
The
Lion's Pride.
Okay.
Isn't that the one that that guy had?
Yeah. I think that was the judge. I
The
don't believe
Moonhead guy?
it's the
What the
4th
fuck?
book. As you
Would
will
have been nice to have
observe.
that information before, you fucking cockhead.
I think it was like perfectly out of shot, yeah. Fucking Peter Griffin
Yes.
death pose was blocking it. The 4th book was hidden from view in the original print by the victim's torso.
Yeah, that would have been nice to know beforehand.
No!
Sake. Why do these games do this shit? They just fucking throw this at you the last minute.
Order! Order!
There, you see? Look at that. Look.
Yes. Gonna
It's
strangle
just
him.
like I said. Isn't it, my darling?
Yes, sir. The roll is always right, sir. I think I gave him a higher voice last time. Let us study the receipt for the books purchased by the accused on the day in question. Mrs. O'Malley, the titles once again, if you please.
Oh, yes, of course. The picture of Monsieur somebody or other.
The picture of Monsieur Lecoq.
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 I don't actually know if it's pronounced Lecoq.
I think it's like
What's it,
Lecoq.
yearnings?
Yeah, something like that.
Canterbury yearnings.
A meal for someone.
A meal for Gabroyo, in fact.
Some French bullshit.
Gabra. As the court had just heard, the witness remembers the book titles flawlessly, save for a few minor details.
Uh-huh.
What was the last one she said, though?
Can you check the history?
I don't know how far back it goes.
Well, she just said them. Okay, no.
No, it just doesn't go that far.
It doesn't go far enough. Alright.
But I don't
Cool.
think she said anything about, like, the Lion's Pride.
No.
Did you hear that, Patrick? The gentleman paid me a compliment.
Calling him gentleman is a bit of a
Yes,
strong word.
flawless, sir. Rolla is flawless.
I hope that's better. But
That's
there are
good.
only 3 books on the receipt, and Mrs. O'Malley mentioned 4. There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly the 4th book is that which is shown in this photographic print.
You didn't buy it, you fucking dickhead.
I'm sorry, counsel, but doesn't that not seem odd? Why should the 4th book be omitted from the receipt? It's not odd at all, my lord. As the photographic print clearly shows, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim.
Was it?
The victim was holding her own book?
I wonder what became of that 4th book.
Obviously, it wasn't overlooked by the investigating officers at Scotland Yard. I have it here as evidence. You will submit that and the aforementioned photographic print to the court, please, counsel. My pleasure, my lord. God, what a dickhead.
He'd do numbers on Twitter.
A second
He probably already does. I don't know, I don't follow the Ace Attorney fandom on Twitter.
Me neither. 4th book hasn't been added into the court record. Okay, I guess we
Oh
can
yeah, conveniently
examine
she's
it.
still in like a coma or some shit, so we can't ask her if that's actually her book.
Prosecution arrests. Okay.
Prosecution should shut the fuck. Why is it burnt?
Is it burnt?
Why is it burnt? Look, the
Does-
corner is like burnt.
It does look
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
got
weird.
like scorch marks. Or
It does look kind of weird.
I guarantee you
Wait a
this has
second.
some
That was like, didn't the guy say that like he was reading
guy.
this book? Like he was reading the
I
same
think
book.
so. I know that title is.
I remember that from the investigation. He
talking
was
to
saying
him.
he was reading this book, and now it's
Yeah.
here. So maybe she like
Yeah,
his wife
She
like
was borrowing it?
threw things out the window.
they threw things out the window during
The-
their argument
The book just like
Yeah.
threw and like clunked her in the head
and
and killed her.
conveniently landed. Jesus.
I think I can
Yeah, like-
examine it. Wait, okay, yeah, there is.
Yeah, it is burnt.
this.
It is absolutely burnt.
Oh, look at this. The book has been badly burnt.
You're right. You'd never be able to read it in this state, especially not the latter pages.
What a terrible waste. Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently.
A book recently damaged by fire. Why does that seem to raise a red flag with me? Okay, we've got the
I wonder.
update, so that's good. The title, okay, yeah.
Let me see. It's a book entitled The Lion's Pride.
I'm afraid I don't know any English literature at all. So it wouldn't be something I've heard. Wait a minute. The Lion's Pride? That's strange. I think I have heard of a book by that name before, and very recently too.
It's a title I recognize too, Mr. Naruhodo.
Good for you. I don't see anything else. Examine here. I actually was gonna like check this first to see if there was like any like more weird bookmarks inside there too.
Does it
Alright.
let you open it?
No,
Okay.
I have nothing further to add. Not even that like it somehow got scorched if it belongs to the
Yeah.
victim. What? You seem surprised, my learned friend. But your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile.
Stop being racist.
The spurious longer route to the
Spurious.
accused lodgings. Spurious. Never heard that word before. That you
it's a
tried
bit
to
of a
establish in your submission
fancy one.
examination. And the attempted discrediting of the witness's powers of recollection in your cross-examination. Futile? I walked right into this, didn't I? Oh, jeez.
You see, everything we've said is true. Isn't that right, my darling?
Yes, Pat. Marry me, Pat.
What?
What?
That's your name. So perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions. Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty?
Stop being racist, you fucking fuck.
Anyone
Oh,
want
great
partake?
attention theme.
Anyone want to partake in this Italian tomfoolery? Or is the decision you have,
Mamma
you have to make all
mia.
too apparent already? Yeah. You have heard all of the witnesses and seen all of the evidence.
Uh-huh. Yep.
This trial has run its course.
Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid we are in a terribly precarious position.
I know, but if I fight back in the wrong way now, I could very well just make matters worse. Think, Rinosuke, think, what do you do now? Object, fuck it. Fucking...
Objection.
Nobody mentioned the book yet. I'm not done yet. No, my learned friend. It's over.
Uh-huh.
It's over! That last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed.
Who are you to decide that? You're not the fucking judge.
Die has been cast. There is no more room for debate. If I say it
This
enough
is how
times, it
Twitter
will be true.
motherfuckers argue. This is how Twitter motherfuckers argue when they think they've got the upper hand and they don't want to like continue the argument anymore.
If you reply, you gay. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but... Ugh, I can't think of what to say.
Thanks, Suzato.
If I may, Lord Fenseeks. It seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point.
Susato coming in with the ratio. Your insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole
A
indeed.
lawless. What the fuck?
For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene in a moment like this.
Are you jealous because you don't have one?
Oh!
You got no bitches. I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her options invaluable.
Mr. Naruhodo!
One of this land's great guarding principles is tolerance, yeah. Just like Poland. So the court will hear from you, madam. Go ahead, Mr. Sato, please.
Please save us.
Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? What have
More
we
than
all
you
overlooked
can.
in this matter that you see fit to pursue further?
Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished.
I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you?
Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think? It's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask members of the jury to announce their leanings in a moment. And of course, he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So we must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible.
Kinda already did that.
Yeah, yes, I understand, Ed. Thank you. Miss Susato? This is it. Susato has managed to win us one last chance to you. I can't let it go to waste. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case and has hitherto been overlooked.
Take that!
The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene, so either one of the two pieces would work,
Oh, okay.
I think.
They both include the book, so they would both work.
The fourth book found in the victim's hand.
Objection!
You didn't even look at the fucking book, did you, Van Zeeks?
I've already discussed the fourth book at length.
Yeah, but did
Other
you
than-
look at it?
No, I'm blind.
Did you look at it with your special eyes?
Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it.
Yeah, because you didn't look at it.
Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time, as you well know. I think he knows, he's just trying to, like, make sure it doesn't happen.
Oh yeah.
Ah. Yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter.
You haven't even looked at the fucking book, you put it in the court record, but you're not looking at it.
When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained a hitherto undiscovered clue. Did he just see it now? So I must insist you elaborate, counsel. You will identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear? Oh, yes, my lord. It's,
Mr. Mr. Naruhodo, I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence.
What makes you think that?
Which means you may very well be on the right track.
yes, I think you might be right. Oh, God. So,
You okay?
counsel. Yeah. Precisely where is this vital clue to this case which this fourth book conceals? Jirik, I don't know. Could be anywhere.
Got it.
I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question. The back? What do you... Good gracious! It's been burned to a crisp.
Yummy.
So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching with this clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
True. Shut up.
Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend?
He's on the ropes now.
Oh. Were I to concede the point, if it bears no relation to the case, there is nothing to discuss.
What do you mean?
So, should you wish to assert that this fire damage is some veiled clue as to what happened that day? Pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? Charred book. There's just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory.
My game theory.
I'll keep us waiting any longer then, Council. I'll explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting?
Internet. Welcome to Yay.
Welcome to Yay!
Its owner, I guess.
Yeah.
Who else would have burned it?
My lord, the burn on the back of this book reveals a startling truth. But the book's owner... I beg your pardon?
We already know who the book belongs to. The victim was gripping it in her hand as she fell to the floor. After all, it's obviously hers.
The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the questions of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has very credible answers. Good gracious, how can you possibly... Very well, I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise.
What, you saying you're gonna straight up murder him after the course? The case.
Yeah. But do remember, the members of the jury may well burn you if your little gamble goes awry.
We're advocating for arson now.
Counsel, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of the trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book? Yeah, him.
Take that!
Mr. Moon.
He looks so funny front-facing.
Yeah. The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A Sir Mr. and Mrs. Garydeb. The landlords?
Well, that's a new post.
And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but... Of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today, that's right, is none other than Mrs. Garydeb herself.
Oh my goodness. Me? Oh, I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garydeb's wife. I'm his maid.
Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright, then how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garydeb's house?
I would never presume to know all the books he keeps, sir.
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused's landlady, you say? You implicate this hardworking member of the public. You besmirch her without a shred of evidence.
Landlords are not hardworking.
Your actions are unforgivable.
Objection!
Mr. Electric, kill him!
This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on that day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garydeb's house. Good lord, what sort of incident, counsel? A fire, my lord. What was it? Like, afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. There's an E over there,
You're doing like
homeboy.
a game chat boy. Yeah.
Whole place filled with smoke, couldn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. Worst of it is I lost my favorite, book called The Lion's Pride. I'll try to do a little bit more raspy one. What is this face? The Lion's Pride? By Jove, the very same title that's the subject of this debate.
Oh, dear me!
Objection!
You have to object to it now.
This is risible. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire. In
Yeah,
which
what a
case,
coincidence that it's definitely two different books with the same name. Wow, I bet.
and both of them were burned. Wow.
Wow.
It would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes. And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself from the scene of the crime.
Oh, you know how it is with books.
Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord.
It's
Without going into
exposing these
details,
people's fucking divorce in court.
it appears that Mrs. Garrideb was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garrideb even amid the flames.
Oh, how awful! I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you, Patrick?
Absolutely not, sir. My Uriah would never raise a finger against me, sir.
Yeah, but she's been yanking on your fucking scarf this whole time.
Yeah. I don't my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got a hold of them, that was it. Whoosh! Up in smoke. Betty, the wife started hurling things at me. There was I, back against the window, under heavy enemy fire, incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen.
Oh! It fell out the window. Okay.
The man had his back up against the window, and he had burning books thrown at him. Goodness gracious, are you suggesting that the book was thrown through the window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
You know how it is.
No, a thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted at the very evening of the incident, and there's no report of Garrideb's window pane being broken. It's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garrideb household. What if the window was just open? Yeah. But it's not concealed
Yeah.
that the window was open at the time and not even remotely.
Oh, how do you know?
Forget
Were
the
you
season
there?
and the chilling weather that accompanies it. No lander would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter. Not even
the
in
ones
the
who
middle
do.
of a fire. They would rather suffocate. Ah!
They would rather fucking choke and smoke, dude.
Yeah.
So true.
Does the defense postulate this scenario in all seriousness, counsel? You earnestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Garrideb's wife.
Yeah.
This is so stupid.
Smile.
I believe it's a possibility, my lord. That's quite enough.
I am. Who said that? Oh, her.
That's her.
Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreign trickster.
Can everyone stop being racist in this fucking game?
Her hair
You
is like
call
an-
yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward, a mean coward.
What were you
just-
saying?
I'm just imagining like the top of her hair just being like a mustache. Like if you like flipped it upside down and just moved it down a little bit.
What?
Really?
Claiming that our little tiff set the whole neighborhood alight, honestly. Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake, how could you?
Oh, nobody
That's
said
what
that.
you're doing.
Nobody
You're
just.
literally doing that.
Nobody actually
I
said
think
that.
you're projecting.
It's nothing to do with this beastly case, not any of it. All you've done is sully our family's name.
You don't have a
No,
family.
I assure you that was never my intention.
Dragging an upstanding citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your failing defense. I should box your ears, that's what I should do. It's utterly unforgivable.
What is that?
She
what is
almost
that
fucking hit the
phrase?
guy next to her.
Yeah.
Too right.
Here we go.
How long have we sat here now, listening to this nipperly spouting out his fancy foreign theories?
No, maybe it wasn't a good idea to put the guy who already hates us from the previous case on the fucking jury.
They only could make so many models.
True.
But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly stab the victim Is that little hunchback with the mustache? And he ran away from the scene too.
I do declare you're right.
It's true.
Yes, what did I tell you?
Makes sense to me. I'm sorry, what's that?
He's just gonna do this every time.
As long as he doesn't speak too much, I think it's funny.
Yeah.
It would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement.
Are
Can I have
they?
a second summation examination?
What is your position, Lord Van Zeeks? Wine.
I don't want to hear any more words from you.
In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessarily protracted proceedings. But then, one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage.
Shut up.
No, wait! The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been...
Whoa!
If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time.
He's so Twitter. He would have thought that was a great comeback.
He like looked up the predilection on thesaurus.
And thesaurus.com.
Yeah. But no, forgive the discourtesy this time.
In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defense's culpability for the court to hear.
You're
Guilty!
gonna have voice acting? Yep.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Shit.
Oh,
No!
fucking again.
Christ.
Oopsie, I set the courtroom on fire.
So much fire in this game.
They don't give a shit. This was like back when they fucking just set things on fire.
Yeah.
They didn't give a fuck.
Thank you for that unambiguous response.
It's twice now. It's over. That's probably...
Mr. Naruhodo, don't give up.
She's the only one who
Subtle.
calls us that.
Yeah.
So.
Have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet.
You're not suggesting...
Of course, the defense has the right to another summation. To another summation examination at this point. You could still convince the jurors to change their minds. You have one more chance.
You have
You
one
have
life
one more
left.
chance.
Fuck's sake, dude.
You have one credit in the machine. My lord,
Jesus Christ.
the defense asks to exercise its right to a summation examination. I believe you still have tricks up your sleeve. I don't intend to trick anybody.
I do.
I intend to
smell.
uncover the truth. There's no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined.
Oh, you get the close up.
Yeah, we haven't
See
seen
his
a close-up.
polygons.
Yeah.
This wouldn't happen on the 3DS.
Oh, to be continued. This wouldn't happen. Oh, fuck.
Well, we've only been recording for 30 minutes, so yeah, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
We should have not
What else
saved,
are we gonna
but
do?
or just saved to a different slot. Well, whatever.
Screen share has been good quality for some reason. I guess it's because you're not also streaming at the same time.
Yeah,
I have considered the
That
defense's
actually makes it
counsel's
easier then.
yeah.
request for a further summation examination of the jury. And I have determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to this procedure. Hang on.
Yippee!
Bless you. I also had to mute my mic to sneeze, but it was okay. I didn't have to say anything at that time.
Yeah, okay.
So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination.
It is case 4, I guess they have to mix it up a little bit.
I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman? We are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to clearly state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime.
Oh, we get to press them. Lovely.
Yeah. The third one is my favorite. He's not really like he's
Just here
only
for a laugh,
physically
X.
present. He doesn't look like
Just
he's
here for a laugh,
mentally.
X.
Yeah.
He looks like that meme that was like, when your pal says be there, be square, and you didn't go, and he's got like a fucking square head.
The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his.
If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider.
Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it?
Dearie me, it was only a little book. Hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit.
You
Bro,
know
we're not
what
saying
is
that
life-threatening?
you killed her.
You know what is life-threatening? Fucking inhaling smoke in a closed room.
Yeah.
Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble.
Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago and gave me the sneezes.
I know if you heard it.
All right, buddy. It cut out a bit, but yeah, I did hear it.
His voice just gets worse every time I do something. Yes, considerably the more tangible arguments from all the members of the jury this time around, it seems. With one notable exception, of course. My own student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness's testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused fleeing from the scene. And moreover,
Stop doing that.
no one else was even at the scene to commit the crime.
Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way.
That means, I'm afraid, that during the summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to be pressing them first.
Yep.
But how? How would you even constitute a tangible explanation here? Isn't it obvious? Who
No,
stabbed the
dipshit,
woman,
that's why we're doing
and
this.
how? Those 2 details are all you need to provide. Did she fucking, like, in her rage, just, like, throw one of his knives? Like, I was joking last stream that she was just, like, throwing those tank shells at him, too. But if I think he was missing
Maybe.
one knife in his, like...
We can't really go back
Like on
and
the
check,
scene, yeah.
unfortunately.
Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. And there was I, thinking this might be hard.
But Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it! Otherwise, this will really be where the trial ends.
Ugh, no pressure then.
Yeah, no pressure.
That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the submission examination, please. If we fucking end this trial with the fucking wife being convicted instead, that would be so stupid.
That would be fucking... Yeah.
I personally are prepared, Castle. She just had like a TF2 like Huntsman sniper moment where she like a random stray arrow kills somebody.
I was thinking of that guy, I think it was a CSGO player, he named himself Only Use Knife, and he literally only used a knife. And he was able to fucking cross-mat people in the most ridiculously precise way.
There's a guy
She was like that.
in the TF2 Classic who is just named Bob Fisto. And he just plays heavy with fists. And every time he
That's
kills
good.
someone, he types in chat, get fistoed.
Good lord.
Oh, yes, my lord. Alright, Ryusuke, focus your mind now.
Oh, he did it twice.
Clearly, the key to this summation
You don't own an air
examination
fryer.
is going to be juror number 4, the maid. Or should I say Mrs. Garadeb?
We have a book that disappeared from the Garadeb's house on the evening of the incident. And the 4th book found in the victim's hand.
There must be a way to link the two. Yes, that's what we have to find. It's what you mentioned. The book being like weirdly shaped in the photo.
Yeah?
Using every time, because I don't think we've actually brought that up already.
What do you mean weirdly shaped?
Like when you said in the photograph the book was shaped weirdly, that was the first thing. And then we examined the book itself. You know?
Okay.
So that's the link we have to establish, I think. Using
Yeah.
every technique I've learned in my short career so far, whatever it takes.
Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Garrett and how she reacts, even to the things other people say.
I really hope it doesn't do some fucking gaslight shit where we have to like press things in a really specific order.
Same.
Again. It was a bit stupid.
It's stupid, isn't it? Yeah, so this is really just like... This is like the person we have to pit against something else. Like, at least they make that
Yeah.
clear. The window is closed, can it? Well, let's press this.
Hold it!
But what about the possibility that the window was open? What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been. How can you be so sure? People are insane. The prosecutor fella over there said it earlier.
Oh yeah, so you just
earlier,
believe
didn't he?
everything he says, do you?
Winter's in London under no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. So no,
Even if there's a fire?
that window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm, see?
If there's a fire.
Yeah. But you couldn't categorically state that the victim wasn't open, could you? It just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it.
Uh-huh.
Then what's the point of even having windows, huh?
True.
Counsel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering.
Twitter.
Sorry. Somehow he just shudders at an undeniable possibility that the window was open. Isn't going to budge otherwise. Alright, you.
Hold it!
But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not?
So she admits it.
Yeah. There's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb.
You've never played TF2, have you? Just almost hit that guy again.
Well, he brought it upon himself. It's playing with fire to betray a fiery love,
Also, I forgot to read her previous one, but whatever.
It's okay.
isn't it? Well, don't you agree?
Just wanted to check. Well, any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Garrett.
Never you mind that. The point is, we were just having a jovial little dispute, nothing more. And I won't have any more of these suggestions that it was anything whatsoever to do with this crime.
The guy next to her is like so adept at dodging every time she does that.
Right, well, we'll see about that. But what about juror number 5? It doesn't seem to be turning a hair at Mrs. Garrett's relentless onslaughts.
He's used to it.
There's Susato.
It's almost as though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is. Good lord. Does his own wife do that to him?
We can press him because he
Is
says
he
he will be
okay?
in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here.
So is mine.
Well,
Yep.
him and me both then, like I said before.
What?
I told you already, I'm a day laborer, aren't I? I don't bring home some readies with me tonight. You'll find me floating face down in Thames tomorrow morning.
Jesus.
What?
You heard me. My missus isn't one of to mess about. You know, she can be fierce, believe you me.
Another shining example of marital bliss then. It's just like real Britain.
True.
Situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, well, you know, it's funny. I can't quite remember.
Oh, you fucking like got hit in the head so hard. Sorry?
It was too frightening, that's the thing. I must have blocked it out.
Oh, okay. He's fucking like
Jesus.
traumatized, dude.
This
Oh,
poor
fuck.
guy. The fuck?
I wonder if Mr. O'Malley will ever be dragged into the Thames by his scarf.
Don't even go there, Mrs. Sato. There must be some way to jog his memory about this. jokes he hit in the head with the book.
Is there anything we can even get out of this?
Maybe like an update to like one of their statements, and then we can pit them. That's what I'm hoping for, because I don't think we can object to them to like their statements directly.
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case?
Sorry, what's that? You'll have to speak up, lad.
I love how he adjusts his like armband every time.
His band, yeah.
Could you tell us more about that fire?
It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. With 75 candles on the top it did. What a sight to behold it was.
You put candles on the cake? Was it some kind of devil worship?
Oh my god.
Of course not, it was an angel cake to celebrate my birthday, obviously.
It's weird.
It seems that's a common
screaming.
custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo.
Also, yeah.
Weird to do a
Kind of
screaming
fun.
voice with him like doing that.
Anyway, I mustered on my puff to blow them out. I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but the candles smoke flying all over the room. The furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke.
This is like some inverse ASMR thing.
Yeah. The anti-ASMR.
He's so true.
It's just made to make you uncomfortable. Definitely sounds like devil worship to me.
So true.
While he like stood up really strangely.
Yeah.
And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold. How did you catch a cold from the fire?
What a fiasco it was. The grandchildren blessed them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames.
Oh.
And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it.
Finally,
Aha!
the windows.
The biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave, it did. I got a terrible cold from it. It put me in the hospital for a while. I won't forget that birthday in a hurry.
I knew it was devil worship, but something
My
about this old man's story is playing on
God.
my mind for some reason. Did the statement not update?
We need to demonstrate.
Oh, you skipped the fucking
Oh,
thing.
sorry.
We
Cool,
need to
okay.
demonstrate who, apart from Mr. Natsume, could have attacked the young woman on the street.
And
As well as how he or she could have done it.
And just say they.
yeah, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. A lot of them seem convinced that they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary.
Literally Twitter.
I think you're going to need to pit them against each other to force them to accept an alternative explanation.
You can probably pit juror 5 and 3 against each other.
Yeah. I don't need to find contradictions between their assertions, just connection might do the trick. Alright, I'll see what I can do. If anything stands out, I'll go in for a strike.
That's the spirit.
Alright, I'll save first. You said 3 and 5? That was, him and...
Yeah.
But
Juror 3 and 6, sorry.
yeah.
He's insisting the window's closed.
Objection!
Oh, here we go. Music
Oh, it
stopped.
didn't lag this time. These two jurors' statements clearly contradict one another. You do? How exactly, counsel?
Don't point at me again, I told you it wasn't me.
What?
Why would you say that?
What's that you say? Speak up, lad, speak up.
Juror number 3, do you see?
Oh, me? See what, sir?
Did you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter.
Well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah! That's what we're
Yeah.
talking about here.
I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be not to open the...
Yeah.
Oh!
Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire at the Garadep household. And Mr. Garadep had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke.
Oh my.
Oh.
Oh, she reacted.
On my hat!
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? Mrs. Garadeb!
Oh, dearie me! What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am?
As you are.
It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now.
What is it?
When the fire started in your house that day, did you or did your husband open the window?
What? I beg your pardon. What are you insinuating?
What could I be insinuating?
Hmm.
The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window.
And what if we did?
I think that would have a pretty significant bearing on the case.
Oh, all right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window. Which can't have been easy since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering.
With books on
Was it, though?
fire. There's a fucking... We were watching JoJo. This is gonna date the stream. We were watching part 6, and there's this one stand user whose ability is to just like attract meteors from space to fire at like his enemies. This is
of course.
what I thought of like happening here. Even though your house was on fire.
Oh, you never stop throwing till the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise.
Yeah, but burning to death wouldn't.
Of course, I should have realized. And also, coincidentally, the reason they end up fighting is because there's just a stand that just makes like a slightly like anything that makes you even slightly angry just makes you continuously like more furious, like until you can
Jesus.
just like fucking see the other person's like muscles somehow.
Good lord.
That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. We've managed to establish that the window was open. We simply must have that added to Mrs. Garadeb's formal statement.
Okay, and now then we can pit juror 2 and 4 then.
Oh yeah.
Like this.
Yep.
Up.
Mm.
This is about how the victim was stabbed though, so let's press though. Let's press first.
Yep.
So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean?
Oh my, such delight on your face. But I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotion. Despite what you may think of me, I am a very modern, metropolitan, and rational woman.
Do you know who she reminds me of? You
Who?
know, in the Aristocats, those like 3 geese?
I haven't actually seen those, so I wouldn't know. Sorry.
There's like these
But
3
I think-
geese that like act like aunts. Or aunts.
Uh-huh.
And like, it just like
Honey,
they...
there's ants. There's ants here. honey.
like
Get out
aunts,
of here.
and like they wear the
Yeah.
exact same hat as her.
Oh, the bonnet. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
Couldn't read the morning papers. It's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? So why read them in the first place? You see? Modern, metropolitan, and rational thinking, wouldn't you say?
And not at all extreme.
As I see it, an overwhelmingly suspicious Japanese man has been implicated by overwhelmingly strong testimony. So, despite 1 or 2 minor puzzlements, I do declare that the man is overwhelmingly guilty.
Christ.
Alright then. Not very rational to me.
Modern, metropolitan, and rational logic, wouldn't you say?
Why are they all so Twitter?
Overwhelmingly. This is how people this is what people did before Twitter.
But us modern gals are always delighted to embrace new fads, you know. So, I'd be only too happy to consider an exciting new theory if you could come up with one.
I'd be happy to do that too, if only I could.
Let's do our very best not to disappoint the modern and metropolitan young lady.
Right, I'm glad you made it rational there. That's good.
She's so true.
I wanna press this too. So we can maybe establish that she threw other things than just books.
Yeah.
The fourth book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. The title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Gerdab told us he had been reading.
Well, I really couldn't say.
On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading?
I did.
Alright. Finally.
It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it? Yes. He was rather enjoying reading it, you're right.
Why did you reveal his information? Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset?
Because I couldn't, you insolent little man. I didn't remember.
Oh, how
No, you
convenient.
didn't.
At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on as well, you know?
I really don't.
I really don't.
Oh boy.
I barely noticed I was throwing a book, much less the title of it.
Also, he reacted. What?
Ew,
Why'd
wow.
he react? He looks a bit.
I barely noticed that I was throwing a book, much less the title of it. Oh.
Uh-huh.
What is it, juror number 5? Also, the way he actually sounds is way different from how I voiced him. He's like way higher. Sounds like a normal guy.
Like, oh boy, you know something? I remember what it was. That memory I'd blocked out.
Oh god.
Ah,
I was listening to what this granny was saying, brought it all floating back.
How are you calling a granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Mrs. Garrideb, or the maid. I'll have you know.
Right.
the man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me it's not because he's so used to being hit all the time.
It was about 2 weeks ago now. I got back home after work, like. I put my hand in my pocket for the wages I earned that way, and I nearly died. It was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out.
Oh.
Oh dear, what a disaster.
You haven't heard the half of it, boy.
Oh?
The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time.
Oh, he's gonna say she threw a knife at him?
Jesus.
I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. I've lost a day's wages, love. Next thing I know, the blade was whistling past my ear, stuck into the wall next to me, it did, about an inch deep.
Christ.
Jesus.
No words, just terror.
Yeah.
I could smell it then, that god-awful stench of the dames. I sure is going to end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. Now, that's a real disaster, isn't it?
What did I just do with his voice there? I'll never use the word lightly again.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it.
Mr. Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined.
You literally just suplex us onto the. You suplex him onto the floor, Suzaru. I don't think you were in a place to talk.
No, I wasn't thinking that.
throwing household objects at people is, well, it's so uncivilized. I'd rather suplex them instead.
I'd rather throw the people.
True. At least attack with honor, using a bow or the like.
What? Attack? Who are you going to attack? I'm going to attack you.
Never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think.
Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later, if I dare. Alright.
This is
There you go.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection. Good grief, you mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, counsel, at once. Juror number 2, do you think, perhaps, that this could be one such novel alternative?
Oh my! Whatever do you mean?
An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back. We really are just going to fucking imply that she killed someone accidentally. Well, not killed because she's in a
It's just in a coma.
but like attempt like almost murder, I guess.
What
Yeah.
are you talking about?
We've demonstrated that the fourth book, The Lion's Pride, was found at the scene of the crime. Originated in Mr. Gerdeb's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Gerdeb household to the street below.
Hey, what's that now?
After all, Mrs. Gerdeb could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4?
What are you insinuating now, you little beanpole?
I'm beginning to think that,
Oh.
ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps you should have a feeling this might be what happened.
Now you listen here, you Eastern Gala. As a foreman of this jury,
Gala.
I demand a straight answer.
What did you say?
Gala, it's a species of cockatoo here. So
Oh.
yeah, he's very Australian.
Yeah.
You give us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house. But what? What was it?
The knife that she was stabbed with.
I'm really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't had any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that at the very least this warrants further investigation. Alright, Mr. Foreman, I'll try and explain the defendant's theory. The other
Game
object that was
theory.
found its way to from Mr. Gerdeb's household to the scene of the crime was... Hang on, let me examine this knife, because did it say something on the... No, it's just a... There's no engraving on
pocket
it,
knife,
so...
yeah.
Take that!
Did we do it?
Juror number
The
4,
music stopped.
Mrs. Gerdeb.
What? What now?
I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before?
Oh!
Good lord, counsel, what on earth are you doing? That's the weapon I was once lodged in the victim's back, man.
Man.
My lord, remember when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Gerdeb were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Gerdeb was hurling anything she could at her husband, who'd been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene.
You can possibly seriously believe that? The book was found in the victim's grasp.
Are you saying that it flew out the window and across the street to land neatly in her hand?
Oh, even my missus hadn't got aim like that.
Yes, I admit there are many details that we don't yet understand. But that's the point, that's precisely why we must not allow this trial to end. Not allow this trial to end. Not right now.
Oh my!
Mrs. Gerdeb, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not?
Oh!
Wow.
That's a new
Okay.
that's a new event. My
My
lord.
lord!
Oh, that's her. Okay.
I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word, after all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, I agree.
Well, the first time a foreman's gonna change his opinion.
Damn.
Oh, I certainly didn't see this coming, but I just don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions.
Mr. Foreman.
Mr. Freeman.
Oh, I'd have to agree. Not that I think the granny did it, mind.
Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either.
This is quick.
All together now, ladies and gents.
So dramatic.
We did it.
Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo.
So, as a result of the defense's summation examination, a number of jurors' leanings have changed. Two
Oh
jurors
great, now
called
that means we
guilty.
get to hear from Van Zieks again. I was happier when this bitch wasn't talking.
Oh, these Japanese again.
Two jurors
Shaking
called
my
guilty.
head.
Shit. Against four now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided. This trial will continue.
Yippee!
Also, apparently, I read this on the wiki, but like fair play, like looking to the side is apparently like a reference to him being a banker and like making like a profile, like you see on coins.
Oh. Yep. I see it.
Because I thought he was just like looking at Van Zieks, but that was just like him doing his pose.
Yeah.
Now then, Lord Van Zieks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed?
No, I don't want to hear from him.
Wine and
Make
racism.
him shut up.
This trial is rapidly descending into a farce. Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough.
Shut up. We're gonna
But
set
what
this
follows
courtroom
is so
on fire.
repugnant. It's good for nothing. It's good for nothing save the gutter.
If I may...
No, that's...
If I may, Lord Van Zieks. The defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened.
Credible. Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond, but let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourself with the better with the relative positions of those places being discussed. What do you mean by that? What's his angle this time?
Some bullshit.
Which should already be more than apparent. That between the crime scene and Mr. Gerdepp household runs a rather wide street, Briar Road. Which means that the victims from Mr. Gerdepp's house to the scene is some, yes, 15 yards.
Let me see. 15 yards. That's around 14 meters.
14 meters? Oh, that's a little farther than I imagined. Ah, and as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as having portentous significance, the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smoldering book, one only hurled by the well lady of the house, traveled by some 15 yards, to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. Maybe she just grabbed the book first. Is that your
There's
final
something here we're not
conclusion,
getting.
my learned and deluded friend?
Jesus.
And did the jackknife note follow a near identical trajectory to the plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots.
Wow.
Ah!
We're gonna piss Susato off.
Yeah. There's There's nothing I can say to that.
That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice.
Go get him, Susato.
Mr. Sato,
Serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he?
maybe let's pick our battles here.
My lord, might I be allowed to speak?
As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense, yes. Go ahead.
Prosecution may consider the idea a fantasy. But what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. And, as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, Juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garrideb, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination.
Saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror? Order! Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Objection!
Stop doing that.
And unnecessary.
Lord Van Zieks?
There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any truth in it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. And we must assume that they would be able to testify accordingly.
What say your witnesses?
I forgot about these fuckers.
Yes, sir. Constable Patrick O'Malley reporting for duty, sir.
Well, good morning, officer.
Sorry for dozing until now, sir. Haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared on my beat, sir.
Good lord.
Oh, they are so heroic, these London bubbies.
Rolla, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more.
Oh, Patrick, my hero, you make me swoon.
Christ.
Very well, I hereby reject the defense's request.
Oh,
And order the witnesses in the stand to testify again. State forthwith before the court any details pertaining to defense's alternative explanation of events.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be fun.
I can't stand these fuckers.
Constable O'Malley's report.
This case has nothing to do with Mr. Garrideb. Believe me, a London Bobby is as good for his word. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of Mr. Garrideb's the Garrideb house are top-hinged casements.
obviously, if anything had been thrown out of the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Patrick was there to make sure nothing was disturbed.
I read that as my crusty Patrick.
Fuck's sake.
I didn't take my eye off this crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report for that front, sir.
Well, this is quite startling. Top-hinged casement windows.
That detail was not in the police report, Constable.
Yes,
Or
sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy.
a little.
I cannot excuse your
Wow.
sins with drowsiness every time, Constable.
Harsh.
No, sir.
Sorry, but... What exactly is a top hinge window anyway? And you... You cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend.
I don't have those in Japan. What do you mean?
Of course, sorry.
I found it, Mr. Naruhodo.
My Wikipedia has an article here.
Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's room.
Alright, I'll try. Use your imagination.
So, the window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house.
Oh.
But, as it's a top-hinged casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see?
I'm glad you've rectified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature is its stay, a metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount. It prevents it opening? This is all news to me.
Yeah, it would have been nice to know beforehand, wouldn't it?
Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or knife were to have been thrown out through the open window, would have been clattered against the pane and fallen straight down to the pavement below.
No. You see the problem then? Good. Your education in Windows is complete.
Okay, Bill Gates.
There was never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered, something we've discounted already. That can't be!
Did you see that, Patrick? That young Japanese man just collapsed in agony.
Oh yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me.
Fuck?
Oh, Patrick, you're so strong.
How is this happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination yet and already my argument's been destroyed.
By facts and logic.
Counsel, if you could drag yourself upright again, the court awaits your cross-examination. My lord... Oh good, another desperate situation. I'm not sure how far we are into this. I feel like when Allegro comes out, we're nearing somewhere near the end.
When who comes out?
Allegro, like this music.
Oh.
I'm not sure what to press here.
Just press everything.
Okay.
You know how it is.
How can you say that for certain?
A very good question, sir. And the answer is this. As the noble founding principles of the Force written on it as a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
He showed us that before, didn't he?
Did he? I can't say I remember.
To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. That's what the job's all about. That is why I can stand here today beside my long-suffering wife and tell you that Bobby's good for his word.
My long-suffering wife.
While rubbing my tired eyes admittedly, sir.
Oh, Patrick, you're so manly.
He looks like he's 12.
This is torture.
This is fucking CBT or whatever.
Of course I am, my darling Rolla.
Hey, Pat. Oh, Patrick.
I think I
hate
saw
these
his lips
fucking-
move on the first one. I don't know why though.
Okay.
Wait, what is her name
They
again?
have- Rolla.
First name I mean. Rolla O'Malley. Okay. I
Rolla
don't know why
O'Malley.
he calls her Pat.
Maybe it's the were their names different in the
Oh, I'm not sure.
localization?
Maybe. In the one I saw, like, I don't remember. No, none of this is what I meant.
I'll look. One sec.
I mean, how you can say for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb.
Ah, I see, sir. You should have said
Oh,
so
okay.
earlier, sir.
Her name in the localization is Patricia. He shortens it to Pat.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And his name in the first game or in the localization was Rolly.
Wow, so they
So
swapped them
they
around
had
for no reason.
Rolly, yeah. I don't know why. But yeah, there you go.
So like, oh Pat, oh Rolly. Okay.
I like that. That's so funny though. It seems like they're just
Rolly.
she's just saying his name twice or some shit.
Yeah. Yes, well, so could you answer the question?
Layer of confusion.
That was a waste of time then.
Absolutely, sir. This was a waste of time. I will answer it to the fullest of my abilities, sir. There's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Garrup's domestic dispute can be related to this case.
Uh-huh.
But before I get into that, sir, just one thing.
Yes?
I'd very much like you and all your countrymen to understand the great British institution of Scotland Yard. So I hope you'll take back some tales of us London bobbies, how we uphold our guiding principles.
This is your takeaway from this case?
I wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here.
You should fuck off.
So to that end, sir, I'd be happy to lend you my warrant card for your perusal. But I must warn you, you won't be able to get through it without shedding a few tears.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see what your actual, like, patrol route is. Thank you, I'll try. Small folding wallet that identifies London bobbies that contains the rules. Conduct to which they must adhere. Okay. This might be something.
Can we look at it?
Must strive to pursue peace within its allotted beat. Expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for furtherance of community relations. Any crimes that fall under jurisdiction of the beat in which they are and fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. Where a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Why didn't he help? I don't think he did.
Yeah.
Something isn't right here. Unfinished casement.
She went to fetch help while he stayed behind.
Yeah. I'll press that first and then see.
Yeah.
Hold it!
Yes, you said that you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer. Is that right?
That's right, yes. If it had been on Patrick's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course.
So it wasn't on his beat?
Don't feel bad, my love. You can't be expected to know the location of every police box on every beat.
So, Patrick told me the way. Only, I sort of got a little lost on the way.
Rolla, my darling, that's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. Oh, Pat.
Oh, Patrick.
God. Oh, please.
Yeah, me too, buddy.
Sir, I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes.
Your terrible sense of direction. I love that line.
But, like I said, our Patrick was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed.
Yeah, wait a second. It wasn't on his beat, but he stayed behind.
Yeah. Apparently.
I must assist with the initial investigations. That's what doesn't
Yeah.
really seem right.
I was off duty at the time, of course, but a true Bobby is never really off duty, sir.
Hold it!
This one is a bit
Close your eyes at any point.
Nothing to report.
That's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time, never looked away for a second. Nobody else approached the seat, and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to that on the
Added to
yacht
it?
honor, sir.
What do you say?
Was anything added to it? Was anything added to the crime scene?
Was anything divided from the crime scene? Really? That seems a little strange.
Beg your pardon, sir. Strange, sir. Seems altogether regular to me.
This burned copy of The Lion's Pride was originally in the Gardup household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time?
Aha! Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burned as well?
Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As we can see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder.
Well, sir, the book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene.
That's so. Something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. The mysteries of how that knife ended up in her back, and how that book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them. How did it end up in her hand?
Why is there blood coming from her on the knife?
Yeah, there's no blood at all.
And wait, no, look at the picture again. Okay, I was trying to see if we could see where her other arm was going, like the one that's under her torso, but I guess we can't really see.
Yeah. Maybe something will appear if you press the other statements.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Naruhodo. I had no right to speak out.
What do you mean?
I requested the cross-examination of Mrs. Garrida without consulting you. Even if the judge did find me.
Oh, I see. Well, I agree with you. We do need testimony from Mrs. Garrida. If we're ever going to get to the truth of this matter.
You really think so?
Well, think about it. No matter how far it is across the road or how that window opens, Mrs. Garrida's book found its way to the scene of the crime somehow, didn't it?
You're right.
Was there another window that we don't know about? And there was Mrs. Garrida's reaction to me showing her the knife. The woman's hiding something, I'm sure of it.
You're right again.
We need to use this cross-examination to uncover more clues. We'll get to the bottom of this one way or another, I swear.
Yes.
Let's see. Interest this one. Wait, you mean they don't open fully, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I thought that was the end of the press.
They're just there to allow a bit of air through the house, you see, so they're restricted as to how much they open.
And therefore, anything thrown out the window from inside the room, simply strike the pane and fall to the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark the map. Oh yeah, this will be useful. Here is the location of where the objects would have fallen. Yes. Directly opposite the scene of the crime, on the other side of a rather wide road. Would have been so hard for somebody to mention this top hinge casement thing before.
Yeah.
Well, I have another question for you, Constable.
And what would that be, sir?
How do you even know? Why would you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Garrida's house is furnished with?
Ah, well, sir, that's very simple. You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday.
Oh. And yeah, this is what I was thinking, like, it was not on his beat, but he assisted with the investigation anyway. And not like whatever, like, police officer she was supposed to call.
Excuse me!
Yeah.
It's a rather random statement for, like, progress to appear on, you know. Do you have something to add, Mrs. O'Malley?
Sorry.
You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that?
Oh, I was just remembering, that's all.
Me when I'm remembering.
We really were so lucky.
Lucky? What do you mean?
Well, of course I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we were just so lucky it didn't happen on Patrick's beat. It was so close, you see.
Oh, I hadn't realized.
Oh, yes. Street, Briar Road. That's the boundary between Patrick's beat and the next one. Isn't that right, my love?
It's a weird face. Constable O'Malley.
Oh, yes, that's right. Mr. Reason I was helping out with the interviewing the occupants of the Gerda household yesterday. Their house is on my beat, you see, sir?
That really was cutting it close, though.
Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. If the Garrett household is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well?
Oh, was the body not like where it was found?
Outside Mr. Gerda's house? Yes, ma'am. Pavement on that side of the road is part of my beat.
The body was moved. I see, I was very unaware of that. Or she had been stabbed and then just like crawled. When he
Just
wasn't
think,
looking.
if the woman had been attacked just on the other side of Briar Road, we would never have been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary.
Did
That's
they
what's
move the
important to
body?
you?
Did they move the body so like they could like do this?
That's the life of a Bobby after all.
Extraordinary people or bobbies, tirelessly working for the benefit of all Londoners.
You know what I think? I think it was the good Lord's way to my Patrick for all his hard work.
Okay.
Don't you think so, my darling?
That must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it.
I should not say Pat, I should just say Rolla.
Rolla.
That must be it,
Yeah.
Rolla.
I think perhaps we should make sure we have that information officially on record.
Leave it to me, Mr. Naruhodo. I'll take care of it immediately.
Okay. Hang on.
And now it's my turn, I think.
Examine. I think it's just the text here that was updated.
Yeah.
Just outside of Constable O'Malley's beat, the border of which... Yeah, this is what we need to present. Oh?
Can I ask you something? Please, Mr. Lawyer, sir.
Oh, yes, of course. What is it?
You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell.
I don't like that.
Mhm.
What? I wasn't really... I mean, what's she doing?
Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my
What?
testimony any less.
Who the fuck? Nobody was like
What?
insinuating this. Where did
Why are
this
you
come
saying this? Gaslight gatekeep girl boss.
from?
You might just see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am.
I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you.
No excuses. I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you?
What now?
Yes, Mrs. O'Malley, I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one. It's a very loud mutter.
I heard that. That Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife word counts for nothing, does he?
This is literally just Twitter.
Well, watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like that, but my Patrick won't.
Duly noted, Mrs. O'Malley. Please, I humbly ask you to continue.
What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder? Some
So
bullshit.
we have two things that could possibly be presented. this better? It's a little off sometimes, though.
Hold it!
I would just press everything on the site.
Mrs. O'Malley, nobody is questioning what you've told us.
I saw it, I did, that evening. I saw it clearly. That little Eastern man with the whiskers and the funny curved back slinking away from the scene. And I know what I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming books or knives flying through the sky.
All very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction.
Oh, yes, well, that's a little embarrassing, really. I'm always ending up at the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Patrick. He gets ever so cross.
Oh yeah, you gotta press him on that. He just went,
Yeah.
wow.
Excuse me.
A lot of pursuing this time around. Constable
Yep.
O'Malley, is there a problem?
Hey, no, sir, no problem, sir.
Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Does your wife also hit you? Come, wanna join the club?
Oh, well, in a way, sir, yes, sir. Just remember the same thing happened that evening is all.
You mean Mrs. O'Malley lost her way on the night of the incident?
Well, you see, I sent her off to fight a police box in the next beat over from mine. But she was gone a fair bit longer than I was expecting. Thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone for a good 15.
Oh, Patrick, you're such a tease.
What?
What?
But the reason I was so long was because of the bouquet, silly.
The bouquet?
Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about?
Oh, it was a present for a wedding anniversary. Patrick, so romantic. He saved up for it with farthings and halfpennies he found in the gutter while doing his rounds.
Okay.
Yes, how romantic.
I'd forgotten all about it until just now. Had you, my darling?
Yes, oh yes. But that was just between us. Don't talk about it to anyone else, darling. You have to promise.
Really? Oh,
What was that all about? Wait, didn't we have a flower? No, we didn't.
Did they?
No. Constable O'Malley looked very obviously troubled during that exchange.
I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruhodo. But I'm quite sure of one thing. We have to ask Mrs. O'Malley about the bouquet.
Mrs. O'Malley, this bouquet you just mentioned. I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please.
Oh, really? Yes, I'd love to.
Okay.
What happened was, I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while.
Okay.
Hold it!
You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime?
Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset.
Didn't the guy say that there was nothing removed or added to the crime scene? Or nothing changed in the
What?
crime scene?
Okay, nothing was removed from the crime scene, yeah.
When we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her back. I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Patrick gave me. It was in a dark spot where the streetlights weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice it first.
1 second. Do we have like street lamps on the map? Do we have a map?
I don't think we do.
No.
We have a map, but I don't think it has streetlights on it.
No, it doesn't say.
Yeah.
I think they did say one of the streets was dark, but it wasn't Briar Road. I think they specifically mentioned that that one is lit up.
Well, they said, yeah, and they also said something about the fog being light. They could see.
Yeah. Or it could just be in the spot where just the streetlights weren't casting light like they said.
Yeah.
So I don't know at this point. And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on.
Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again, but the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all.
In case you need reminding, Mrs. O'Malley, the victim is not deceased.
I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road.
Your husband, presumably.
That's right. Silly me, I'd gone over to the wrong side of the street.
So I think he moved the body without her knowing.
Although I'm going to blame the bouquet this time. I can't think how it got there. I really can't.
So the bouquet somehow moved from one side of the Briar Road to the opposite. Curious indeed.
Isn't it? But the worst of it is, I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the scene. That beautiful rose Patrick bought me, with that change from the gutter he spent so long collecting.
By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this sorry solitary rose?
Oh my god.
Oh! Oh, yes, that's it! That's the bouquet Patrick bought me for our anniversary, with old bits of change he found in the gutter.
Christ. How many times are you gonna say gutter? Maybe just call it a rose, yeah, exactly. Tell us, Lord Van Zeeks, where did you come by the flower? According to a report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Gerdep household. Front of the Gerdep's house? Although it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case since it was found the opposite side of the thoroughfare.
Ah.
Oh, thank you, sir, thank you. Could I have it back now, please?
No, I think for a good measure, this rose should be added to the court record as evidence.
Oh.
Oh.
Alright.
Seeing the stabbed victim caused Mrs. O'Malley to drop the rose where she stood. And that was found under their house. Okay.
But it's a symbol of our love. I want it back after the trial, do you hear me? I want it back.
Good grief, rest assured I shall do my very best not to forget, Mrs. O'Malley. My god. Yeah.
People are deranged.
Yeah. I think we've pressed everything. Wait, this is new. Wait, no, this was the one we just pressed. Let me see if I missed anything. We did this. It was thrown out the window, we would have seen it. I don't remember if we pressed this one.
Hold it!
Let's see.
I don't know.
I don't think we did. According to my notes here, the sun had gone down already and it was dark.
Oh, but Patrick and I were strolling along, gazing at the night sky and looking for our lucky star.
Yeah, I bet.
Sorry?
The star that will guide us to eternal happiness.
Christ. Can't it guide you to answer the question?
It's as if a flaming book had cut across the sky in front of us. Would have lit up like a shooting star.
And if I'd seen a shooting star, I would have made a wish upon it. Let Patrick be an inspector, I would have said, 3 times at least.
because with what the smoke and everything, we couldn't actually see any stars. In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you? Yes, sir, that is correct, sir. As sure as the night sky and the loneliest starless sky, sir.
Uh-huh.
Certainly seems like they're telling the truth.
And then we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we ran straight over to help her.
Okay.
I think we pressed this too.
Yeah, we did.
And that the last two we definitely pressed, so let's save. There's a number of things that are wrong here, but I'm not sure which one is
Yeah.
like the right one. No.
Press that one.
This one?
Yeah, we did press that one.
Yeah.
Is this some gaslight gatekeep robust thing where we have to fucking press it in a weird order again?
I hope not.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Objection!
Shit.
Good thing we saved.
Yeah. Maybe with the bouquet? This and the rose?
Objection!
Fuck.
Funny part.
Wait, there's the
We have to
case.
save.
There's
so-
also the third one that's like the case data.
Fuck around until something works.
Case file.
Objection!
All of these feel like they should be
Yeah.
right. I'm not sure if I am.
Should be rot.
Let's try to go over them like again, see if anything changed.
Hold it!
God.
Love the sound effects of this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Hold it!
We'll see just in case. Yeah, this is where they would fall. Directly opposite of the scene in the crime. Maybe this is where I have to present. We did press
Okay.
on that before. We helped in what
Yeah.
way? Press members of the Paj will question in order to gather information about the case.
Oh yeah, when we did this, we didn't.
Yeah.
We pressed her instead of letting him continue.
That's right, sir. The sad truth is we're all overworked. So even though it wasn't under the jurisdiction of my own beat, I obviously wanted to help. I see. Well, thank you.
Oh, is it my turn now?
I think she already said that actually. Yeah.
We would have seen it. Alright, let's see. Just in case that did something.
Yeah.
Objection!
No.
I got no clue.
Hmm?
I got no clue.
I know what I want to say, it's just how are you supposed to say it?
Yeah. You have to figure out the like exact fucking thing they want you to do, which is like not always immediately obvious.
Yeah, I mean, they allude heavily to what actually is the point. I'm just not sure where and how I'm supposed to present that.
Yeah.
This one seems like what I need to present on, like, how the body was moved.
Objection!
Like, this seems so right here, but no. I should pause this
Yeah.
and then see.
Yeah, good point.
Okay, we are back. And, yeah, we were on the right track. I just, like, presented everything that I thought was right until one of the things actually ended up working.
You know how it is with this
you
game.
know, I have to present, like, the bouquet to this statement.
Objection!
Yeah. You claim, Constable O'Malley, there was nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes you were guarding the scene. But that cannot be.
What do you mean to say?
In your testimony just now, Mrs. O'Malley, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection!
Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road to where the victim was attacked. But considering the size of the meager bouquet, the meager bouquet, if a single sorry bloom can be so described.
And everyone is rich, dude.
Know that it was blown in the wind across the street, into the gutter where it belongs. Christ, dude. Like, what is your
Jesus,
problem?
man. Yeah.
It's not our fault nobody loves you.
Mika?
Objection!
But if that were the case, why did the Constable O'Malley not testify to the fact?
No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it.
Yeah, I don't see the connection here, like... This isn't about the rose being removed, it's about it not being found.
Yeah.
Constable O'Malley swore to that on Scotland Yard's honour. The bouquet belonged to me. It had nothing to do with the case. That's why Patrick didn't mention it, I'm sure.
Uh-huh.
No, because sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way around. What are you talking about? Think about it. Besides Mrs. O'Malley's bouquet and Mr. Gerdeb's book, there's Mr. Gerdeb's book. Mr. Gerdeb's copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out of the window by his wife, would have been struck by the pane of a casement window and landed here, on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found here, on the opposite side of the road, in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. O'Malley's bouquet should have been dropped here at the scene of the crime, on the east side of the street. But in fact, was actually found here on the opposite side of the road, in front of Mr. and Mrs. Gerdeb's house. There's no logical explanation for those things. Unless somebody deliberately moved them.
Uh-oh.
What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Patrick's done something wrong.
Don't you listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says. Wittering on about books and bouquets? Why should we care? It's nitpicking, that's what it is.
Oh good,
bet.
Mrs. Gerdeb's come around.
Oh yeah,
might
she was
call it-
fainted on the floor, I forgot.
Yeah, you might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Gerdeb. but deliberately meddling with the scene of the crime is a criminal offense. It's called,
Tampering, Mr. Naruhodo.
Why is he so angry? But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it. For a very subtle but compelling reason.
Objection!
Shut up.
Tampering? You've barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend, who would possibly have the cause to carry out such an elaborate deception? Yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening. All the evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person. Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate this conjecture. Who are you saying is responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime? Well, he was alone with it, so he can be he's the only one.
Take that!
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry. Obviously, there's one person could have been. Constable Patrick O'Malley, it was you!
Here we go.
What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard?
What? Did the police do something wrong? No.
What nonsense! Why would my Patrick do something like that? There's no one straighter than There's no one straighter than my husband. No Bobby works more tirelessly for the people of London.
Patrick is super straight.
He is.
Mrs. O'Malley, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it.
You're making it up! It's all nonsense! It's all lies! What about that Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him! He did it!
Objection!
You bet.
If that was true, Constable O'Malley would have seen him do it.
Oh. And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. O'Malley, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Well...
Objection!
Everyone involved in this case is fucking weird.
Yeah.
First you make accusations about the landlord and his wife, now you incriminate a policeman as well. Your accusations lack one very important thing. You claim the crime scene was tampered with. There's only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime, to hide something.
That's right, he's right! But my husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. So, why would we have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense.
You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering. And until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats. Whatchamacallit? Little leaflet, yeah, the warrant card. Constable O'Malley had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. It's the key to this entire affair.
Mr. Naruhodo, have you managed to solve this mystery?
Counsel, you have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you are mistaken, I'm sure I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged. With stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering. Yes, my lord. Constable O'Malley's motive for tampering with the crime scene was to hide where the victim fell. Where the victim fell to the ground. That is what this Bobby had to cover up at all costs. What?
Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of Rye Road. We saw it happen, remember? It was right here, as if anyone didn't already know.
You dropped your bouquet under the victim.
I bet.
That's certainly what everybody has been led to believe. But in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all.
What? What?
I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous tribal end, Council.
Malthus.
Malthus.
Yeah.
If that's your assertion, that the court is dying to know, my Nipponese friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening?
I guess we'd save. We better save just in case it decides to fuck us.
But that's... on the opposite side of the road?
I don't understand.
He understands. He knows what this means. On the evening in question, Mr. Gardep's book fell directly down from the open window above. And your bouquet, Mrs. O'Malley, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself. Good gracious! God.
Objection!
Fuck off, bitch.
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. But these witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place.
Did they though?
Did they?
That's right. I saw it with my own eyes.
It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was the typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid, that was actually on the west side of Briar Road.
No, that's not true. It can't have been.
Constable O'Malley then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print, victim herself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, the pavement to the east side of Briar Road.
Another close-up.
Extraordinary, yeah. The constable overlooked one thing.
What? What did he have a look?
The bouquet, I presume. Exactly.
Prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Zeke said it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay in the street lamps cast no light.
Yes, it could have been seen in the dark, obviously. Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond?
That's
Constable
just a
Patrick
theory.
O'Malley.
A game theory.
Constable Patrick Matrick.
Patrick metric. Here we go.
Well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important?
Oh, fucking god.
Alright, Patrick.
God.
It isn't true, is it? What that lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know.
I had a dream, a terrible dream. The things I did that night. Everything come out, everything supposed to...
Oh, oh god.
It seems... it wasn't a dream at all.
Good golly! Order! What on earth is the meaning of all this?
Hey, Patrick, why? Why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it?
She's not dead.
The victim dead should be one too. Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London Town.
I can't say it's,
What?
He's got something wrong with him.
I really am ever so sorry about all this. Damaging the yard's reputation for everything.
I have a possible explanation for why on that particular evening, Constable O'Malley felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason.
So it would be on his beat?
What? How could you possibly know? So that it wouldn't be on his beat. So
Either
that he
would or wouldn't.
So he wouldn't have to like stay because they wanted to like
Yeah.
go somewhere. You,
Yep.
a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman. And yet, Lord Van Zieks, it is this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far. I believe it should be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary lawyer's theory. Counsel for the defense, if you would please. Yes, my lord. Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence. At once, my lord. England, Japan, it makes no difference where you come from, human emotions are the same. And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions. What gives away the motive for Constable O'Malley's unthinkable actions? I don't think it's...
Isn't the police thing?
I don't think
His
it's...
little police thing that you gave us.
I don't think that will work.
You sure?
I was gonna present like her profile, but I can't.
Mm.
That would be what I would do. Like he
Maybe
did this...
save here just in case.
Yeah, it did autosave, but
Doesn't
But
hurt
yeah.
to save again.
let me read the case file as well. I think yeah, this.
Take that!
Okay, the music stopped, so it has to be right. I realized that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I have only just arrived from Japan. That's why all this information about London's so-called bobbies it's completely new to me. Learned that though honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example. Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens on his beat in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt that the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly. But for Constable O'Malley, the day in question was special. Special? How? On account of this bouquet, my lord.
Oh, yes! It was our very first wedding anniversary.
Okay, they're like 20.
Yeah. Constable O'Malley had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife, and was looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal. When he and Mrs. O'Malley stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road. When he saw that shouty figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of him, what must have gone through the man's mind? But sir, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. O'Malley puts up with a lot being married to a bobby like me. Wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. This is the warrant card that Constable O'Malley offered to lend to me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Aha! Constable O'Malley. Is that or is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day? Yes. Everything you said, it's alright.
God damn.
So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat.
Oh!
Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on the Constable O'Malley's beat. Good gracious! Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you have done? It was the first time since I became a coppa that I'd ever cursed God. Wow.
Stay close to me, Rolly. The criminal could still be lurking somewhere.
Rolla is her name. What?
As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. Got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. But then it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and what that meant for me. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives.
Sorry, I got interrupted by Maggie coming in.
Oh.
And now she's trying to chew on, there's like these little fabric paddings underneath the drying rack I'm using for my laundry. So it doesn't like scuff on the floor, and she keeps chewing on them.
God.
Maggie, stop doing that. Maggie.
Why here? Why did this have to happen here? And why tonight of all nights? Why?
When?
That is kind of sad though, like...
Yeah.
Their personalities aside.
It's a copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so... I told Rolla she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever it was on duty there. It was then when I opened my mouth to speak. It just came out. I couldn't believe the words
It's like the PewDiePie stream. I just couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth.
This is the next beat to mine, Rolla. You have to go to the police box that covers it, turn right along Meerschaum Street, and then...
Why'd you do that, you cringe bitch? Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm
Binding
so
of Isaac.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine like a realistic drawing of him.
they're on the fucking like Afterbirth Plus box art.
No, I mean of
Oh,
him.
Constable.
Oh, of him.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I just wanted, just that one night, to take my Rolla out for dinner.
Oh, Patrick.
Just that one night.
You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. So you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. Just across the street to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care. It's so weird that they would like split a beat like along one road.
Yeah. It is a little fucky.
Surely that would be kind of complicating things.
A little bit.
You see, I thought... Well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my Patrick would never have left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement.
Ah, I see your meaning now.
God got me back from my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Rolla.
I know, Patrick, that was all my fault. I should never have dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Patrick.
Can you tell us, Constable? How many books did you move from one side of the road to the other in total?
Oh, 4 it was. Yeah, definitely 4.
3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garrett household, of course.
But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? When all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean.
Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it.
How you found it? What do you mean?
When I first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand.
You're sure it was this book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding?
Oh yes, sir, no doubt about it, sir.
Interesting.
I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. There were only two people at the scene, and Pat and me both, and Rolla and me both saw it happen. However which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who'd done it. I thought... I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. Suppose this is it for me now. I've had it.
Some policeman you are.
My lord? Yes, Lord Van Zeeks? I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses.
You're not wrong.
Constable, you may withdraw.
Yes, sir!
Mr. Prosecutor, sir. What will become of my Patrick? What will happen to him?
I will eat him. For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course.
Uh-huh.
Please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. I should never have married him. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late.
Leave it now, Rolla. Let's go home. I'm tired.
Uh-huh.
All right then, my love.
Just picturing her like moaning into the night like a wolf. One last thing, Constable.
Sir?
Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, no matter how insignificant it may seem to you. Yeah, that's rich coming from you.
Yes, sir.
He's so true.
Carve that lesson in your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime.
Ah! Never again, sir? You mean to say...
Leave, now. This trial is not yet over.
He's so upset.
Hey,
Sir!
hi, baby.
It feels like we're nearing the end.
I hope so.
Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. Never thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of a crime like that. Should have checked, to be
Come here.
honest.
Come here, Maggie.
Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here. Principally... Oh, shit. The accused, Mr. Suseki Natsume, is the only person who could have possibly committed this crime. We've just
mean?
established that she could have been stabbed in the
just
back from the
disproved that.
window. Yeah.
Objection!
Maggie, please stop scratching me.
No, I disagree. Now that we know the
Plus
true scene of
ratio.
the incident, there's someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back.
Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already.
That's why he's trying to dismiss it. Lord Van Jix, is this true? Very well. Name the person if you will, and if further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing. You will name this other person who could have perpetrated this crime. Yeah, I guess this
Yeah,
is
it was Iris.
This is, yeah.
Take that!
It was Sherlock Holmes.
So true. He's everywhere all at once.
The defense would like to
Hi,
once
baby.
again would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord. Once
Maggie
again.
is climbing me right now.
God, I know how having a cat climb on you feels.
Yeah,
When
well, she
you're trying
doesn't
to do
climb on my
something.
shoulders. She
Yeah.
doesn't climb my shoulders, but she does love to climb up and get in my face.
Have you ever tried to play Splatoon while a cat was on your shoulders? Like this was I had a similar thing.
I actually think I did. One of my uncle's cats, when she was a kitten, liked to climb on people's shoulders. And yeah, I think I probably did have that happen.
God. That would be even worse with motion controls. Alright.
Yeah.
My assistant made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case, it's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Gerda.
Me? Me? Oh, dearie me.
Objection!
You said you have no objection. You
He doesn't
lied.
care.
That request has already been denied.
Objection!
The situation is very different now. Mrs. Gerda, answer me this.
What do you want now, you little toad?
At the
Can't
time
do a
of the
good Toad
incident.
from Mario voice. He's
You-
like, Toad from Mario is like fucking
Hello!
yeah, he gets more screechy.
Yeah.
He gets more screechy throughout the Mario series. Like in Mario Kart 64, he's just like, ah, yeah. And then like later games, he'd be like, I don't think that came through the microphone.
Yeah.
Just screeching like a horrible little creature.
At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Gerda. In the course of that
Oh,
argument...
I get it.
What?
John and Joan Gerda.
Oh.
That's funny.
A minor house fire was ignited. And to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened a window that looks over the Briar Road.
Well, what of it?
You threw this book at your husband, which was cornered with his back against the window. Upon striking the pane of the top hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down, finding its way to what we now know to be the true scene of the incident.
Yes, and as I said, what of it?
During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Gerda. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back, have you really never laid eyes on it before?
Oh! I don't recall it.
Oh,
Sure.
seriously?
Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband?
Yes.
You distinctly threw that book because you knew it was one of his favorites.
Yeah.
And anyway, the man over there and all that regalia said members of the jury needn't testify, didn't he?
Conveniently, yes.
Objection!
The music's loud.
No, I have no recollection of saying that at all, juror number 4.
Gaslight gatekeep girl boss.
Is he gonna turn
Oh!
around now? Make no mistake, you jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to judicial process. If you know something about this knife, madam, let the truth come out.
What? But that's just a common or god knife. It could have come from anywhere. We have several like that at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know?
What's that? Are you joking? What are you saying, please, Mrs. Gerda?
The other jurors are pissed now.
Yeah.
Now, you listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought that I'd injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it.
That's not how it works.
Oh, the poor woman.
So, yes, I want evidence. The hard evidence if you're going to insist on this being my fault. You're going to have to prove to me that I threw that knife, if that's what you think. Come along now, chop chop, do your worst.
Well,
Well, Mr. Naruhodo?
if I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already. And take the stand, juror.
Oh!
The prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman. Thank you, Lord Van Zieks.
Wow, he's not a bitch for once.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to testify.
he's having an Edgeworth moment. Juror number 4. As I'm sure you will appreciate, having observed it with your own eyes today, witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths to which the witnesses themselves may not even have been aware.
Oh, dearie me.
So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Gerardeb. And mark my words, in this court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsels? Certainly, my lord. That's what I'm hoping for, my lord. That's new music.
Music is pretty sick.
Oh,
Nice angle.
it's such a strange feeling. The first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real.
You can see the back of his hair.
Yeah, I'm here in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer. First person ace attorney. Witness, state your name and occupation.
Oh, yes, my name is Joan Garrett. And I'm a juror and such like.
Uh-huh.
It sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid or what anymore. The court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify the matters in this case. Do you understand, madam?
Yes, my lord.
You will tell the court everything that took place in your household that evening in question. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth.
Oh, dearie me.
Betty,
probably her husband.
chin up, Joni. Nothing to worry about now. Oh,
How'd he get here?
Oh,
he
I
just
didn't know
showed
you
up.
were here.
This is like slap healed. Wasn't only you
Look
in
at
the
her
room
face.
that day, all thing, was it? I think I ought to testify as well, don't you?
What about your knee, dear?
Don't you worry about that. Hardly notice it. Chopped it off. I'm not the sort of chap to leave a cut on his face to suffer an action alone.
Oh, Joe.
I presume you're Mr. John Garrett. Yes, sir. 4th Second Lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland Fusiliers, sir.
Somebody puts his pipe on her fucking tray.
I've seen my fair share of action and I'm living the quiet life, as it were. Quiet life? Were you not engaged in an incendiary battle with your spouse on the day in question? Well, yes, quite. Quite. I believe this may represent the first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness test is unprecedented.
Better get used to it.
However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question. Sir, at once. Bertie, there's an E over there, old boy.
E? The Battle of Gyarados.
Yes, on the day you're referring to, though I and I did have a bit of skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked the candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out though, and got the window open.
Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him.
Plenty of nice around our place. Can't say I'd notice if one or two went missing, I'm afraid. If the belly thing in the victim's back really was one of ours, you'd have a job proving it, I think.
It sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening. Although an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. Oh. I say what all chaps and chappets, Game Chap and Bertie here. The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast. Most veterans such as myself. It's only too aware that on every battlefield, you're just a gnat's whisker from death at any moment. We're still talking about a marital quarrel here. Let me see the volume here.
It was life or death.
God. Right. I think I lowered it a little bit more. Should be fine. Well, I must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackknife. In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end. Panzix may well be right.
Well, whatever the chances, we only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo.
It's definitely the last one, trust me. Yes, I'm afraid so.
Oh.
Very well, counsel. Begin your cross-examination. Let's review their testimony before anything. The Battle of Geradeb. Did have a bit of a skirmish, can't recall the reason now. The window open. I'm just reading this back to remember.
Yeah, fair enough. You'd have a job proving it. Yeah, so... Oh, okay. I didn't mean to press forward. Okay. It's the extent of their testimony, is it?
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I think we've heard all this before, to be honest. I can't say I'm particularly confident that we'll be able to prove anything new from this testimony.
But in this cross-examination, it's absolutely essential that we establish how this knife came to be at the scene of the incident.
Let me examine the knife, like, when it's open again. So I didn't do that last time.
Yeah, we haven't looked at it in a hot minute. Yeah, there's...
The tip of the knife is missing, which might
But we
be the
can't
way to
exactly-
prove it somehow.
Probably. I mean, we still can't, you know, talk to the woman who was stabbed. She's still in a coma. I think we read of this dialogue before.
Yeah. We could, like... Maybe, like, it will turn out that the tip of the knife was just lodged in the window somehow.
I don't know how that'll work, but...
Yeah, you never know how with these games.
You know how it is.
That sounds terribly painful. For you.
For you.
Yes, I know.
She just rotated.
Yeah.
I'm sure both of them must be feeling very worried. Worried that it was, in fact, a knife belonging to one of them that caused the victim's injury.
We could even find a tiny shred of evidence to support that theory. It would clinch this trial for us. It would explain everything.
Yes, it would.
So for Suseki's sake, we must. We must find that last crucial piece of evidence. You know what we're gonna do here?
You know what the sauce?
You know the sauce. The reason is what you've told us yesterday, I believe.
Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Garrett.
Rather passionate note, in fact. But Mrs. Gerdep found the note, discovering her husband's little secret. It wasn't even addressed to him.
Yeah.
And she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it, too.
Yeah, it literally wasn't addressed to him. What the fuck?
What a sordid state of affairs. Hell on earth. I say, when a chap says he can't recall such things, it's common decency to not drag it all up. And besides, half of it was wide off the mark anyway.
Unlikely story.
God. These waters run very deep. And what transpired next after these multiple blows to the face? Candlestick, okay.
Hold it!
The fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it? The bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine, really. Just so happens there was some bathwater around that evening, so I sloshed that around to put that out.
Oh, okay.
Most precarious situation you put yourself in. Ours is a three-story townhouse on the west side of the street, where the water main isn't connected yet. I have to draw water from a public water pump during the day if you need any, you see.
Jesus.
The lodgers are always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although that little mustached Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe.
Defendant Mr. Nutsway, you mean?
Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off.
Have you actually seen the state of the man?
I believe he uses all of his income to buy books.
Well, anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough. So that was nothing really important.
Yeah.
Hold it!
Even though the room was on fire.
As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw.
That is most certainly not true of a Susato takedown, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yeah, you just throw the person. How did she know I
Throw
was
the person in
thinking
the fire
that?
to put it out. Literally so easy.
So please cast your mind back and try to remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day?
In all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, cabbage, garlic, towel, and a sponge, a napkin.
By Jupiter!
Reacted.
Excuse me!
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, sir? Mr. Garadeb. Hey, don't shoot! Sorry. I beg your pardon.
God.
Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind? Nothing any significance, no. Just a barrage of projectiles the old thing launched at my direction. Was somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and fire poker, I seem to recall.
Jesus.
Ouch. And the woman's aim is uncanny. She landed a direct hit with every belly. Ah! Good grief, woman. We're not at home now. This is a court of law.
She's just pouring fucking tea over the courtroom floor.
Oh, dearie me. Ever so sorry, dear.
She poured it in his fucking pipe.
I think so. What's she even doing with a teapot in here?
Honestly, John, I would never have thrown such things at you, obviously.
Gaslighting him now.
So many gaslight gatekeep girl bosses in here.
Well, take a look at this then. How do you suppose that happened, Your pipe, sir? Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out of one of her soft projectiles, she did, yes. And when I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I'd like to see a sponge do that sort of damage. I see, your pipe was broken. It would have never been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I managed to bandage the thing up for now. It will heal over time.
Oh, you are one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear?
Is he smoking the pipe that just has tea in it? Is like just gonna be soggy fucking tobacco?
Yeah. Wonder what we
Yummy.
should make of this account. Also,
That's nothing, let's
smoking
not
in the
push
corner.
it. Oh, this was like the 1800s. They don't give a fuck. You could just do whatever.
Yeah, that's true. The defense believe Mr. Garrett remarks just now to be of great significance.
Objection!
Shut up.
This war veteran's words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife, and pipes as well as hearts may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony. Indeed, common sense, one might say. Might one?
In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir?
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't see why not. Not like there's a knife tip in here.
Oh, dearie me, there you go again, trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady.
She's 16.
She's old enough to be his grandchild.
Yeah. Very well, the court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence.
Pipe.
I hope I didn't speak out of turn, Mr. Naruhodo. I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down.
Oh no, it's fine. Thanks to Susato, we have some new evidence to work with. We should examine it carefully. We'll do that right now. Let's see. I don't think we can unwrap it, but let's see. Looks to be in the sorry tape that with a bandage around it, doesn't it? For some reason, it feels slightly ominous to me, like it's trying to shout out a warning. Probably because it's the same blue as Mr. Gardepp's dressing gown.
I suppose it must have considerable sentimental value to Mr. Garadub.
See, there's something broken off also.
Oh, yeah.
Given that he's gone to the trouble of repairing it like this.
Either that, or he can't afford to replace it. Yeah, there's a thing missing here.
Oh.
There's a small nick out of the ball here, look. It appears to have been made relatively recently.
And see how there are little scrapes and dents all over it? It's clearly a well-loved pipe.
Yes, you're right. Seems to me recently that being well loved goes in hand with getting some battle scars. This particular nick is catching my eye though, because it's clearly new. Also, it's kind of weird because like... Oh, okay, I was joking.
Oh!
I was gonna say...
Okay!
It is a little bit weird that like the inside of this nick is painted. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The wood wasn't
Well, maybe-
blue.
Yeah, good point. Fuck.
Oh, something just twinkled inside. How did... How the fuck did this get here? And how did
How did
he
he
not
not
see
notice?
it? Yeah. Something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there.
Yes, I saw it. Something stuck in there, I think.
Let's turn it over and give it a shake. What's this? It's a tiny fragment of metal. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. Oh, that's
Oh,
her.
that's me.
Yeah.
It looks like the tip of a blade or something.
Tip of a blade? Surely it couldn't be. That's unrelated. Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
Well... Well, thank you for that rebuttal, Mr. Garadep. Now if you could return to the crux of the matter. What can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim? I'll press just for good measure.
Hold it!
Why not?
Sorry, would you care to elaborate? Nothing to say, really. Rather per partial spot of a carving, you see. Bumps and whatnot, fishing tackle, you know the sort of thing.
a passion we both share. I like to carve little wooden trinkets too. And then there's my leatherwork.
Sorry to say we're always losing knives about the place. We have dozens of the things.
They sell them at the market sometimes. 20 for the price of 19. Needless to say, I snapped them up.
God.
A knife hoarding problem.
John prefers to use 2 knives at meal times too, instead of a knife and fork.
Fucking animals, dude.
Imagine that.
God.
Now, John. We don't want people. It is pouring into this pipe.
His pipe is still there?
Yeah. Here we go with the scaldings. Why are they being so evasive? I want to see what he said. Now, John. We don't want people thinking I'm some sort of savage. Ah! God.
I imagine it's because they don't want to believe it. They can't bear the thought that it might have been one of their knives that injured the victim.
How did the tip even like get out?
Get in the pipe, yeah.
Which is entirely understandable, of course, but still. Go on with your testimony, witnesses. So. Alright, and this is.
Hold it!
It's definitely what we need to present, but.
Yeah. But you can't present it just yet.
I probably can. I just wanna like listen to all of the testimony.
Yeah.
So you have no intention of admitting it was your knife, unless we can produce proof? Even though there is no other credible possibility if Mr. Natsume is innocent?
Objection!
You forget, my Nipponese friend, that has yet to be established that the accused is not responsible for the attack.
Ow.
As if I could forget. Only there was some way to know who had handled the knife. I suppose wizardry like that is just a dream. The magic of fingerprints.
Perhaps you're thinking of fingerprinting, Mr. Naruhodo?
What? You mean it's not a dream? That sort of wizardry really exists?
Whenever people touch anything, they leave behind a unique pattern from their skin. So they say.
But I can't see anything. There are yet countries in the world where these so-called fingerprints can be used as evidence. Lord Vortex is currently discussing the matter with at the Ministry of Justice. Yes, I believe we are rapidly approaching an era of scientific methods of investigation.
But for now, we shall have to find an alternative method of proving our assertion. That this knife found in the victim's back was originally in Mr. and Mrs. Garridub's house.
Ugh, if only I could transplant this whole incident to several years in the future. Alright, that's what we read already.
We do have the evidence.
Yeah.
Can we present it yet?
Alright, that crucial piece of evidence.
Objection!
There we go.
Mr. Garridub, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please? You can ask, but I can't see a bally thing.
This is pretty small.
You can't? Used to call me Dead-Eye Deb back in the regiment of course.
You look so sad.
That was some time ago now. You know, I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days. I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest.
Sheesh.
Oh, he does. Dearie me, it's rather wearing being asked about every other letter and every other word.
You must D very dizzy. Very dizzy. What is that? A tiny scrap of metal? Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to be just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence? It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garridub's pipe. My pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how that got there. And what precisely does this tiny fragment of metal signify, Council? Are you suggesting that it is in some way related to the matter of the stabbing on Briar Road?
You don't need to do that, Naruto.
I am. What? When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord. What the fuck? His ass is burnt. Did you see
Wait,
that?
whose ass is burnt?
Like,
No, I didn't.
Garredep's ass is burnt. He's like completely scorched from behind.
Jesus, okay, I didn't see that. That's funny.
You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well then, present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly reveals the truth of the entire case?
Obviously, it's the pocketbook.
It's my badge. This is a knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you will see that there is a small piece at the tip of the blade that is missing. A common issue with inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave tips lodged in the victim's bones. And what of this particular knife? No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim.
Objection!
No, that's not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garredep's pipe. Good grief, Lord Van Zeeks. I don't believe it. What is this pose?
The new pose.
Yeah. The Von
Had to put
Karma
the motion
pose.
capture to good use.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Von Karma pose.
The knife from the crime scene and this fragment of metal are a perfect match. Good golly gosh. Order! Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery?
Fucking, why is everyone here racist? Even the judge is racist.
This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle.
In Sparta.
A miracle? So Van Zinks has figured it out, has he? Counsel, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once. Yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garredep's pipe?
Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony.
Had this being in my head as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out of one of her soft projectiles, she did. Yes. It would have never been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. God.
She's shaking.
Oh, that's her. Oh, dearie me. I don't know why it's just their last names now. You can't tell who's it saying. During the argument between the two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mrs. Garredep flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Garredep, instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time.
Oh shit.
Which caused the tip to break off. Of course, I still don't know how the tip ended up inside the pipe. And it broke his pipe and also like chipped it on the side. Unless that was like different projectiles, but that sounds.
And also the knife fell down at a perfect trajectory
I
to
would
hit
love
that lady
them
in
to
the back.
give a visualization of this.
Yeah. This is insane.
Good lord. Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garredep's pipe. The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1! And yet there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out of the open window. Ah! In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Garredep's house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below.
He did the 360 turn.
Oh gosh! Oh dear!
Oh,
Oh!
it's gonna be a breakdown. No! See
Oh,
ya?
his ass is burnt. Right.
Objection!
He's just pointing dramatically across the court. He got his wine back. He just like appears to them.
Yeah.
He has an endless supply of them.
A full-bodied fury, I'll give you that.
What else do we have to go off of, though? We have nothing else.
Yeah. A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument. Sorry? But after all, it is just a theory. The bottle, I fear,
game
is
theory.
corked. Yeah. Because you see,
And again.
it's spoiled by an insurmountable inconsistency.
Which is?
An insurmountable... What?!
Didn't even say what it was.
Old Fancy, explain yourself. What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified? An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. His fucking steel heels, I just noticed.
Yep.
The victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her back. Oh, that can be explained. She saw the book on the ground, she went to pick it up, and then the knife went in her back. There was actually like a thing, like in Turnabout Big Top, there was a similar thing where the victim
Was
had
there?
to
Oh.
crouch down to pick up like a big box, and that's how his back was exposed.
Yeah.
Yes, in her... Ah! Oh my god.
Wow. Why'd she hit her husband if she was mad at Naruhodo? What the fuck?
Ouch, on old thing, what are you getting so excited about? Oh, it healed.
Computer dialogue. Stupid.
Let's consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that struck her had fallen from above, there's no possible way it could have planted itself in the victim's back. Yeah! Come on, Ryu, you can figure this out.
Can we stop putting filibustered here? Fuck's sake.
Order!
What? Right, you see? That's exactly right. If the knife had fallen on her from above, it would have struck her on the top of her head.
She hit him again.
Yeah, well, it's lost for words, look.
I knew it. I never
I
liked
knew
his
it.
theory.
I never liked his theory in the first place.
I don't know what really did happen.
It would appear the defense has made a rather spectacular blunder.
Well, yeah, but that still doesn't explain how that's the same knife that was found on her back
Yeah,
with the broken tip. It's a perfect match.
if a theory
There's no
has even one
inconsistency here. She bent
it cannot
over.
stand. Yeah. Your theory, my learned friend, is history.
It's a new pose.
Yeah. Why can't it be a coincidence that she just like crouched down? Like the fact of the matter is that the knife is a
already
perfect
full
match.
of, like, this case is already fucking full of like weird coincidental shit
Yeah.
happening.
We're so close. I could see the truth. I was so sure we were on the right track. But now the way has
Well,
been
we
blocked
are.
completely by just one simple inconsistency.
It's not. You people are all so stupid.
Oh, that's you, I think.
Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency, and the theory will stand.
Mr. Sato.
Matt Pat making his game theories.
Yeah.
You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo.
In his case, it's just we must ignore this one inconsistency.
You were just caught off guard, that's all, and your mind went blank. But if the path you are on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself. The key to this is in the court record, I'm sure. All the information you need is there.
It seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponese friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes.
He's literally talking to her right now.
A tacit
you not have
acceptance
ears?
that your theory is fatally flawed. Oh,
He
look
was
at him.
literally just talking to her. Get him.
You just yelled
I love the
objection in this
image of him
pose.
saying objection and he's still got his fucking head on the desk.
Objection!
Head in his hands.
It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. What's the previous thing? I mean, that was on the wrong track. Okay. Yes!
I noticed he hasn't done the little table slap in a while where he like looks at his
The pussy
hands.
slap, yeah. If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way that it could have hit her from in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is.
Here we go. He's doing the Phoenix Wright bullshitting
Yeah.
thing.
What are you implying? Counsel? There's a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency. I believe it's the photo that we need to present here. That shows
Yeah.
her holding the book. I can explain how the knife fell from above could have pierced the victim's back.
Yeah, because the book fell down first, so she
Yeah.
went down to grab it.
Yeah,
Ah, I get it.
we already have the
Just
answer.
save in case.
Yeah.
Goodness!
What the madness!
Barta.
Surely this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak.
Hit yourself in the face again, counsel.
This is the last inconsistency. The final piece in the puzzle. Save just in case.
Just in case it fucks us
Yeah,
for no reason.
it's
A little
actually
trolling.
Well, actually, it was the
actually the
second
local
photo.
map is what you need to present here. If I can successfully make sense of this, the truth will be laid bare at last. The episode explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is... Actually, no, it doesn't show like the updated location. Yeah, this
Second
one.
photo.
Take that!
Okay, the music stopped.
Yep.
We're right. This, the fourth book found at the scene, is the final piece of evidence the defense will present. Oh, here's
Oh,
pursuit.
we got the music.
Yeah.
Here we go.
The burned book? Is that not Mr. Gardeb's book? Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand. As we all now know, it was the police constable that put the book between her fingers like that. Yeah, and he said he found it like that. Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road. That's true, however. As part of his testimony, Constable O'Malley made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand?
Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. When he first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand.
In other words, the victim had already picked up the book of her own volition. And clearly, that must have been before she suffered the knife wound. Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd have been doing much of anything. The question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand? By Jingo!
Jingo.
I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now.
Oh, dearie me!
We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Gardeb household onto the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past. Yes, at exactly that moment, the young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, when all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her.
Okay, through.
Yes, Mrs. Gardeb, that's what what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement that is on fire?
Well, I really can't imagine it, but I suppose she might have reached down
Oh,
Oh, that's a cute illustration.
yeah.
and picked the book up.
Yes, and that is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book.
Oh heavens!
And when the woman reached down to pick the fallen book up, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely pussy facing the world, completely and utterly defenseless.
up.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
Then in the very next moment, while the woman was
Jesus.
still bent over picking up the book,
Christ.
the next object fell from the room above, the jackknife, straight into the middle of her back. And at that same time, walking by chance directly behind Miss Green, was the defendant, Mr. Suseki Natsume. Well, I never!
Christ.
It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above.
Oh!
From the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker. There was never a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place. No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the truth behind this case. There we go.
I like that angle.
Yeah, this is the finishing blow angle.
Even Suzato is surprised.
Yeah. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Gerdup. A breakdown, maybe?
The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that.
There, old bean. He even says
Old
like
bean.
all the things that
There's an
Game
E
Chat
over
said.
there, old boy.
E over there, old bean. Bertie, old bean. There, old bean.
Or Mrs. Garrett.
Jesus.
Of course, I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but
You're gonna need to go to like anger management classes.
it was all my fault, wasn't it? I take full responsibility. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book. And I threw the knife as well. John, dear.
It's alright, I know.
Aw.
I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry!
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's
She
yeah.
died. Oh, he caught her. Oh. Jeez. His ass is out.
Yeah.
He also died.
Also pussy facing the world. God.
Fuck's sake.
But
The judge
no one should
doesn't
be
even
watching
give a
this.
fuck.
Lord Van Zix, what news of Mrs. Garrett? He's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events have left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There is no cause for concern. Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could easily have been a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions. I mean,
Yeah,
the
like
husband
going to
didn't do
anger management.
anything. Like, John
He
didn't
bought
do
a
anything.
book.
Yeah.
He bought a book with the lady's note in it. How dare he?
Yeah. There is some good news, however, my lord. I've just word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her
Oh, is she
condition is
awake?
improving steadily, and the doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon.
Aww.
It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her.
How wonderful! The woman is out of danger, it seems.
Yes, that is good news. So, Mr. Suseki Natsume. Oh, I forgot about him.
Oh, he was here! Fuck, I forgot.
Yeah. Yes! On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our grey British culture. And have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies.
No, it is me who should be begging your pardon.
Oh no, Mr. Natsume.
That evening, when a young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped on the wrong conclusion again in my confusion.
What conclusion, sir?
I was sure that the woman was dead.
Yes, Constable O'Malley said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she had been killed too.
I suppose she must have looked completely lifeless.
His eyes twitching.
It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in this fog. Like they're haunting me.
Poor Suseki, his imagination really has got the better of him.
Yes, poor man.
He just wants to get out of here and just run home.
So when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police! Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust
And
between
your
our two
face.
empires.
Yeah.
And for that, I am truly sorry.
Oh, John is now like in the position of the fourth juror. I don't know if you saw.
Oh, he is? I didn't notice.
One could say that some sort of mischievous spirit had been at work here, I think. One had created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by this spirit and led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Zeeks and our young lawyer here from the east, that chain has now been broken.
We have a name. He
Yeah.
has a name. Why does Lord Van Zeeks get called by his name and fucking Naruhodo doesn't?
Nobody cares about
This is
him.
double standard.
Or the judge can't pronounce it. The chain has now been broken and the
Probably.
spirit exorcised. I heartily commend you both. Oh. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Yes, my lord.
We're gonna get voice acting again. In concluding this trial, I must ask one more time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court?
As the foreman of the jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion.
I do declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times.
Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure.
Sitting in for the old bean while she's out of action, you know. But I know what her decision would be.
This means me I'll be able to get out of here and start work. Well, it's about time.
You didn't even read it, you just coughed.
Yeah. That's how I finish him off. Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decisions.
Voice acting?
Mr. Foreman,
Not guilty.
Oh,
Not guilty. Not
Huh,
guilty.
okay.
Not guilty. Not
I love how he
guilty.
sounds.
Not guilty.
That's pretty cool.
yeah. Very well, Mr. Suseki Natsume, I hereby pronounce you.
It's kind of
Not
hoping the judge
guilty.
would get voice acting too.
Yeah,
I guess he does in cutscene. Where's this confetti coming from?
it's... First time the fireworks are actually appropriate. And finally, Mr. Natsume.
Oh, yes, Lord, sir.
You are now a free man once more. It is my hope you will continue to further your education in British culture. And may you never again be brought before me.
Oh yes, sir. Of course. All my life, I swear I'll never set foot in a courtroom again. I'm transported to tears.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned. Wow, that's 45 minutes.
Yeah, that wasn't too long.
Yeah,
I guess I could have done it yesterday, but I wasn't sure.
yeah.
Although we do have a bit more to go after this, because we gotta talk to people after
Yeah.
the court.
Oh, locum.
Is that our name now?
Yes. Wait, you mean me?
Of course! Is there another locum here?
Is there even one?
Compared to the original locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it?
What's wrong with using my actual name?
Oh, at last! I'm free! I'm free!
Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation! Heady, hearty, happiness, hurrah!
Oh, I am pleased! Mr. Natsume is delighted.
Would it be so hard to just say that then? Locum, you did it! You saved me from the break! This fucking poses.
Why is he doing it?
Well, what happened to the poor woman that was in no way... What happened to the poor woman? It was in no way your fault, after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now.
No, no, no! Not that!
Lovely, loyal, locum, lawyer! Yes?
I mean, as I said before, I have just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering brick buildings. And from high up windows, I see them looking down on me, laughing. Look at that little hunchback.
Oh dear. I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume.
It's not helpful.
But today, you, locum lawyer, gave my gloom the boot. You stood firm behind that baronial bench before all those babbling British. You
So
battled to
it's
the
time we
bitter
get
end,
some reverse-
laying bare to the
It's time we
baffling
get some
truth.
reverse racism in this game.
Yeah.
When I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold, the best barrister ever born!"
Well, that's very flattering, and we're very pleased for you.
This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan.
Ah, an anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work? Ah, there you are, my dear fellows.
But that's Sherlock. Yep.
I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning.
Well, what time is it? It's fucking like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Can we actually check?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, what a pleasure to meet you.
I don't think it shows you what time it was. Does it?
Oh,
wait, it does, it
3
does.
p.m.
O'clock in the afternoon. What?
Sleeps like me.
What? This-
I see I am here not a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say.
Oh,
The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo, and I wish you the very best of luck. It's just finished. What? No! Then my haste was in vain!
he's doing like
Ah!
fucking,
It's you! Sherlock Holmes!
he's doing like the fucking what's his name? Nagito Kamaeda pose.
Oh yeah.
He was.
Yeah. God, don't make me hate him. Oh, have we met, sir?
this is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Holmes.
Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters have taken place in the gloom, either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the light. Charming.
This is all your fault, Sherlock Holmes. You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind.
My apologies, sir, but I assure you, I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not? Had she been taken to the hospital more urgently, I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now. Oh,
He's dabbing.
but it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience. He got his ass.
I do feel badly about how I behaved.
Well, never mind. Now then, what was it that you wanted to say to me, sir?
Nothing.
Priceless! Oh, I am so sorry, really. But that was quite priceless. Poor Suseki. Still, on the bright side, you have an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And it would seem you were not even found guilty.
He almost was. How do you say? How can you say that?
But there is no bright side.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume?
Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits and now by the Reaper.
Ah, Lord Van Zeeks.
Haven't forgotten, you know, what facing that man in court means. Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed.
It will all be alright, Mr. Natsume.
Yeah, I think I'm doing his voice the right way because my throat hurts exactly the same way as it did before.
If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I will protect you.
She's gonna do a fucking Susanoo takedown.
Why
I
me?
need
Why
What?
me?
We're not. I'm not the prosecutor.
With a perfectly executed Susanoo takedown.
He's so shocked.
Much as like being turned on my head, a bit of warning might be nice next time, Miss Susato.
Cry about it.
Cope.
Seethe. Mob.
So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan.
Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon.
Oh,
It had already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here and the city it has shaped. And I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it.
that's very touching, Mr. Natsume.
He just wants to get out of here. Or, in perhaps less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world. To escape the terror of the Reaper's curse.
I don't say that.
That's not it at all! The more I learn of the literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own.
Oh, I see. A work of literature by Suseki. Would be an interesting read. And what about Mr. Susato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry, what about us? Will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriot? Why would we?
No, we're here to study.
A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. And only now does it feel as though we have finally found our feet.
And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not? That's right, but we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us.
I've calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted.
Well then, you could take my lodgings.
Oh,
great.
the windowless room.
Ah, but what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up for with a floor, ceiling, and walls.
Great.
Okay.
And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit.
Oh my, an evil spirit?
Oh yes. It tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's
The cat.
It's an infallible wake-up call.
It's the cat.
I think it's the lack of ventilation.
That too.
We'll think about it if that's alright. Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me?
Yeah, let's stay with your insane daughter.
Really?
She'll experiment on you.
She'll experiment on you in your sleep. Just like a cat.
Yeah. Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it's up in the attic, I might add.
Oh god.
Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft? I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of?
Oh, this is simply wonderful.
Yeah, we only took one pair of clothes. This is all we wear.
What an honor to be invited to taking lodgings in the great detective's attic. I'm too overcome for words.
So suggesting we look elsewhere is out then. Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist.
I don't know what to say, but thank you, and yes.
Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take long.
Somebody's happy.
At least one of them is happy.
Yeah. Locum.
I knew that you wouldn't let
Calling
me
us
down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London.
Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you too. It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon.
Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. But Locum, we'll meet again one day.
Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer.
Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author.
Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, Mr. Holmes. I have little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. And so, with Saseki's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Holmes to what was to become our new home, 221B Baker Street. We're gonna get a cutscene? No, okay.
Oh, let's go. Oh, okay.
20th February.
It's actually pretty roomy for an attic.
Yeah. That's not so bad. 3D. So this.
New office, yes.
Our office? I really like the sound of that.
Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it?
I hope you can see this, Kazuma. It's only a small step. But I like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now. So, my dear fellows, do you like the place?
It sucks.
Oh.
Ooh, we hate it. Oh, okay.
We like it now. Ah, Mr. Holmes, yes, thank you so much.
You know what? Now I can see why he has like a spot on the Tumblr Sexy Man Wiki.
Yeah. He just had to take off the coat and like the bad boy hair.
Yeah, even like shaped his eyebrows.
Yeah,
I forgot to read his dialogue.
yeah.
It's a delightful room, Mr. Holmes. I simply adore it.
Good, I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you.
I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. Well, as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives, we have a lot to celebrate. Iris, you must let me help you. All right then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad.
Just gonna shoot it with her gun.
Splendid.
He can be in charge of shooting people.
So true.
God. So,
No,
Mr.
don't leave us
Naruhodo,
here.
how does it feel?
Don't leave us here with Dilf Holmes.
Let's have your
Make
own
him go
office in the
away.
capital. very exciting actually. Can't help wondering what adventures await us. None. Those are precisely my sentiments when I first established my offers at these premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is. Sorry?
What?
London is a glorious place full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightest of lights casts the darkest of shadows. Shadows? What do you mean? Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So, once again, Mr. Naruhodo. Welcome to London. I don't like his, like, bad boy eyebrows.
Me neither.
Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Holmes so casually spoke. But it wasn't long before my turn came. To lift the facade and see the true depth of murk that lay behind it. And... yay.
Yay. Did we get a cutscene?
I don't think we do. Landed in
Sad.
London.
We got an achievement, yeah.
Alright. And that's episode 4 out of 5.
Oh, we're almost there.
Yeah.
Hound of the Baskervilles.
The last key is gonna be like it's halfway of the total runtime of this game.
Jesus.
And it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed a smoldering gaze. The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in white-hot flames.
Jesus.
Yup, okay. Well, next time, I guess it's gonna be time for the final episode of the first game.
And it'll take a while.
Yup. This one took like... I don't know, because we stopped like for 2 weeks, so this took way longer than it would normally. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess it's gonna take like 3 or 4 streams, maybe even 5, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this stream. So yeah, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.